Hello, people. How are you? Welcome to our first episode of Literacies and Lattes. Yes, it is a great to kind of be back in the YouTube world. You guys know I had to take a break due to my grandmother transitioning, and she was such a huge part of Reading for Smiles. And so, when one of our loved ones transitions, there's so many things that has to be done, and then given this family time to grieve and so forth. However, if you know me, you know I've still been working in the background. And so I had wanted to bring literacy and lattes to the forefront where we have open and genuine conversation about literacy, what our children should know, what they could know, and all of the things. Right. And so I am excited because this is something different. Um, this is something that can be game changing for everyone. This is where we can put it out on the table and say, is this substantial for our children to know? Is this going to help them for their future? Does this prepare them for success? Right. And so, if you have no idea who I am Miss Robinson, founder of Reading for Smiles. And I have been doing this literacy thing for about 20 plus years. We're not going to put a real date on that. We do not age ourselves as women, right? So I want to start off today's conversation about children and financial literacy, when to start, how to start, and all of the things. So please go ahead, grab your coffee, your tea, your water, whatever you have nearby, and pull up a chair. This is our space to have this warm, thoughtful conversation about literacy, homeschooling, family learning, child development, financial literacy, and the real life moments happening all around us. At Reading for Smiles, we help children read, learn, and thrive. That is my slogan. That is my belief. That is my core. And I also help
That's
adults who love them feel more confident guiding their literacy journey. I have been in the classroom, I've been a part of the school system, and now I am a mompreneur who works from home. Well, I've always been an entrepreneur, but now I'm a mompreneur. And my two babies are the reasons why I came out of the classroom and said, I have to do this differently. I still want to show up in the market for education, literacy, because by default and by full joy, um, I'm an advocate for education. I'm an advocate for our children prospering. I'm an advocate for our children having access to the tools and the things that they need for a successful adult livelihood, right? And so I am so happy about doing this show. We'll be on every Friday. I'm still trying to sketch out what's the best time. Right now, baby girl is napping. So I said, why not do it right at this particular moment? Today is not only special because it's our first live show, but I'm also not at this table by myself. If you are someone who is afraid of AI, you have your concerns about I can understand that. But I will also say it is a beautiful, wonderful tool when used appropriately, when used as a supportive measure, and knowing that it does not replace you as the parent or you as their educator in their life. And so I want to introduce you to Sage, who is a part of the Reading for Smiles AI executive team. Sage serves as my AI research strategist, and each week she helps bring educational trends, research, homeschool conversations, and thoughtful questions to the table. I want everyone to say hello, Sage. Come on in, Sage. How are you?
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. I'm doing really well and so excited to join this conversation. We're going to have a thoughtful, fun chat. Let's dive in.
All right. So, Sage, tell us what is trending out there today in the homeschool space?
One big trend is families incorporating real world learning, like financial literacy starting earlier. Parents are looking for hands on ways to teach money habits as life skills.
And so, let me ask you this. Is there a conversation already happening about when children should learn, how they should learn?
Absolutely. Experts are highlighting that kids form money attitudes as early as ages 3 to 7, just by observing. The shift now is toward intentionally teaching them in playful, everyday ways.
I love it. So now let's have a real conversation about this. For me, financial literacy begins at home and it begins as early as 2 to 3 years old. Why? Because children are with us when we are shopping. They are with us when we're online shopping. They are sometimes, depending on the age, right? They are picking out things that they may want to eat, or if there's a toy that they're interested in, mommy, can I have it? Daddy, can I have it? All of the things, right? And so that is a part of the first conversations around money. And I do not want anyone to skip past that. Um, because it's a very, very integral and important piece. And so many times we see people not bring up financial literacy until children are mm, maybe middle school, around eighth grade, up into high school, right? And that is because they are teaching civics and economics at the beginning of eighth grade here in the state of New York. Now, if you live in a different state, you have to look at what your standards are in your state. But here in New York, around eighth grade, you start to have more conversations around economics and economic power and so forth. And for me at Reading for Smiles, it's always been since kindergarten, right? Kindergarten. I started out doing financial literacy with children who were 4 turning 5 or 5 years old if they were in the program, and they would learn about needs and wants. They would learn about uh, counting money, being able to identify different forms of payment, learning about old systems of payment as well, because we would be able to role play and learn new vocabulary words and all of things about it. So I'm very, very excited for the fact that New York has now made a way to say that, guess what? Financial literacy is a mandate. Now, it doesn't come into full effect until school year 27, 28 for the younger children, but for the middle schoolers and up, this school year that's coming up, 26, 27, will be some of the rollout. Um, and I'm excited about this because I have been teaching financial literacy to the babies for over 10 years. In our summer program, students not only had to learn about the money aspect and identifying coins and bartering systems and all of these different things and fiat currency, right? But they also had to learn how to put their own business together, how to create their own commercial for that business, how to pitch that business to live judges, right? And we made it a whole big night, a big night. And I have been doing that for years. So I am so excited to even see other programs are starting to do it. Obviously, I can't serve everybody. So, with that being said, there is space and enough for other organizations, teachers, and leaders to step up and fill in this gap because it is an important piece. No longer are the days should our children be waiting to get to college to learn something about finances, or in the case of their first job when they turn 15, 14, 15, 16, and they're trying to figure out, hey, why they're taking taxes out of my check, right? What is that a part about? or giving back to charity. These are conversations that can start so much earlier. And so I'm super, super excited about it. And I want to dig in a little more deep with Sage on this topic of conversation. So, Sage, do you have a question for me before we kind of move in?
Yes, I do. What's one of the most memorable moments you had watching a young child grasp a money concept for the first time? I bet you've had some amazing reactions.
I did. I did. So, first off, the business expo, like I said, it was a night of magic. And I'm saying that because I'll give you one case in point. There was a time in our summer camp that we taught about skin in our science class, right? And the layers of skin and all of the different terms. And there was two little girls who decided that they wanted to create their business around skincare. They took what they learned in science class at Reading for Smiles and started to make concoctions that were plant based. They were heavy on environmental protections and stuff. And they used those oils to make for their business. They put together a wonderful presentation. They had about six samples or so, as far as like the different scents that they have created. And they actually sold those same products at the expo. That was the first year I saw children take their ideas, pitch them, and actually make a profit at the children's event. Talk about proud, talk about encourage, talk about engage, talk about on point. So even if they didn't win the actual business challenge of the expo, they won for me because they showed up, they came ready, and I had no idea that they would have the oils for sale. Did they have them where did I know they would have some on display? Yes. But I didn't know that they were actually going to sell them. And I thought that was marvelous. And they did that with the skin. They took something that they learned in the program and created a business out of it. Others, a few other students put together their own, uh, what do you call it thing? The slime. And they made their own slime that was glitter slime, oil-based slime, water-based slime. I didn't even know that there was all these different types of slime, as well as the different colors and the textures. And they sold them. And I was just blown away because I said, this is what I do this for. These students will now enter middle school already with a few ideas of actual businesses that they can create. They will be prepared to be confident in themselves to actually sell something. That's remarkable. A child with confidence is a child that is willing to take on learning in a whole different way. And we can encourage confidence through literacy.
That's such a powerful example. It's amazing how confidence and financial literacy came together there. Now, I'm curious, what's one simple action a parent could take this week to start that conversation at home?
Something that I would suggest is starting with the grocery list. Why? Because it's something that every home is already going to be a part of doing. And if you're making a meal together, what are those ingredients? How much do these ingredients cost? What store did we go to for these ingredients? Start adding up things and allowing them to see that you are using your purchase power to sustain the family. If you have small ones, and by small, I'm talking about children aged 3 to 5, I would also introduce them into that conversation because they too are eating dinner. What would you like to have tonight? Um, if there's a favorite snack that they want, Let's talk about it when we go to the store. How much does it cost? What aisle is it in? Is there different variations of it? So forth of that. We open the conversation with what they actually know, and we use that to our advantage, because connecting real life to literacy is the game changer. It is the part that schools have been missing for me in my years of experience for a long time. It's not that, oh, why are we teaching this? It is, where does this show up in the real world?
That's a great perspective. Connecting it to real life makes it meaningful. I love how you emphasize starting with what's already familiar. Little steps like that build a foundation.
It definitely does. And then I want to challenge parents to break past their comfort zones, right? Because so many would usually say, oh, I'm not sure if they would be able to understand that. They can. Be open. Start small, but be open. Use coins, right? Use small bills. Show them your debit card or a credit card. I'm using this. And then that naturally opens the conversation, especially when using cards. Well, where is this money? Like, this is just a card, but how is there money on this card? And that opens up to, what is banking? What are banks? How is this money stored on the card? How is this money going to be used on the card? Responsibility with the card. This is layered, but this is an opportunity to have an open discussion and a teachable moment.
That's a fantastic mind shift. Everyday moments become learning moments when we let curiosity lead. And the more we open up, the more confident those kids become. I love it.
Yes, it's important for children to see some of the things that we do, right? So if they're going to the store to us, they're listening to what they hear us say when we say, not today, not this time, or yes, you can buy it today. They're watching us when they pay a bill. They may see us save for a family trip. These are all things that we do in real life that are connected to money. And so the question is not really, are children learning about money early? They are. The real question is, are we helping them learn about money on purpose in a healthy and positive way?
Exactly. That's the heart of it, shifting from accidental learning to intentional positive teaching. When we guide them, they grow up with confidence and clarity around money.
Sage, bring us to the learning table. What are you seeing right now when it comes to children and financial literacy?
Right now, we're seeing a shift. Research shows that kids start forming money habits as early as age 7, just by observing parents. And states like New York are beginning to require personal finance instruction by elementary school, not just high school. It's becoming clear that early, simple money conversations matter.
Hmm. And so, have you seen anything where there could be any pushbacks against this? Um, or have you seen anything that is saying what homeschool families may need to do yet?
Some pushback comes from folks worried about adding too much too early or feeling unequipped. But what's key is we start small and playful. For homeschool families, it's about weaving simple money lessons into daily life, like grocery budgets or Play Store games. It's all about starting where they are.
Right, right. And I agree with that exactly. We are saying that children can begin learning the language of money in ways that make sense for their age. A young child can learn that this is a coin, this is a bill, this is something we need, this is something we want, this is something we can save for, this is something we share, this is something we can create, this is something we can sell, this is something we can give. That is the beginning. And I'm going to say this. We can do this with fun, hands-on, age appropriate, and that the children actually feel included. Go ahead, Sage.
Absolutely. When learning feels like joyful, I just add that the more we connect these lessons to everyday life, the more confident they become. And that's exactly what we're aiming for.
Yes. And so I am very excited, families. I am shifting again, right, from being in the classroom or in the school building to showing up in the virtual space and still serving our previous families and new oncoming families. We welcome you guys as well. And not for nothing, I'm very excited to announce that Money Madness Academy will be launching in the near future. And so I'm going to take the things that I've been teaching for over 10 years and put them in a format that is doable, digestible, and easy for parents to emulate at home and for teachers to be able to use inside the classroom as well. And I think that it's very, very important that we do this in a way that serves the youth, guides the youth, and really sets them up for an informative future.
It sounds like you built something truly impactful. I'm sure families and educators will love having a clear, hands on path. You're making early financial literacy not only accessible, but exciting.
Oh, yes. I love it because, I look at things and say children can play store, they already trade toys, they already count objects, they already ask questions like, can we buy this? And they already notice the swift change, right, when a parent says we have to wait. So we're not forcing something foreign onto anyone, we're just bringing the conversation up a level and the practice to meet it. And that is exactly what Reading for Smiles does. We take real life and turn it into meaningful learning.
And that's what makes it stick. When kids see learning as part of their world, I'm excited to see how many families you'll empower with this approach.
Me too. So let's talk about why this matters for a moment. The first thing, oh, I'm so sorry, Sage. Go ahead.
No worries at all.
The first thing I want families to understand is money learning is identity learning. When a child learns early, I can make choices that matter. When a child learns, I can save, and that matters. When a child learns, I can share, and that matters. When a child learns that, hey, I can create something valuable and receive something in return for that value, that matters. Those are not just financial lessons, those are confidence lessons. And so at Reading for Smiles, confidence is always a part of the curriculum. Letting them stand on their own 2 feet is always a part of the curriculum. It has to be hands on when we want children to really embrace it, take it in, and own it, right? The true part of education is owning the scholarship, not just saying, I read it off of a page, I studied these words for a few days, or anything like that. It's about the practice, the involvement, the hands on engagement with it. And I don't want anyone to think that that can't be done in the financial literacy space, the social studies space, the science space, ELA space, none of the content areas. None of them. When we allow children to emerge in the practice, This is where they become confident. This is where they understand how it connects to real life. And this is where they actually learn, I can do this too, and apply it throughout life. Sage, did you want to say something? Or you want to add to that? Uh-oh. Sage, I don't hear you. Well, I don't know what happened to Sage, you guys, but that's what it is. She must have took a coffee break. So, if any family or parent has questions about financial literacy, what to do, what to teach, when to have it, continue to engage with me having this conversation, because as Money Madness is finished being developed, I am definitely going to be engaging in all the conversations around it. I love this space. I feel like children should have been learning this. I feel like New York State should have been had this on the table. And so now to see that it's a requirement makes me feel happy to know, hey, you are taking our children seriously. And you are putting it on the table because you realize it's a real concern and a real need to know, right? They're going to be functioning members of our society. So they need to know. And with all of the changes that we have going on right now, they need to know. They need to know. That was a whole nother reason too why I even did Garden to Grow, right? Not just to add on to my son having an interest in learning about certain things and growing food. But then I started to pull back the layers and say, look at the skills that are actually being really taught here. And then look at what's going on in society right now. If we could put our hands in nature and grow our own food, why not? Why not? It serves multiple purposes, right? Multiple purposes. We have no idea what the future may bring, but we do know whether or not we equipped our child for it. And that's the conversations that I love to have. And those are the conversations that should keep on going, but as things evolve and change. And that's where I'm standing on it. That's where I'm standing on it. And so I hope that you all have enjoyed our first conversation on literacy and lattes. I don't know what happened to Sage, but it's all good. And please know, join us on Fridays. Like, share, subscribe to this channel. I am super happy to bring this conversation up and for us to have the opportunity to indulge in it. Also, if you are interested in joining our school community, the link is in the description. And also, if you want to learn more about our Garden to Grow program, which is still running right now, the link is in the description. I am super, super happy about all of the things that I have built and will be continuing to build to help our children have prosperous futures. You can know, most people, you're buying curriculum, you have no idea who's the person who put it together, what was their thought process. I engage you to come, learn, show up with me, see what I'm about, see if I'm a fit, test out our products, see if it works for your family. I'm not going to say, oh, my product works for every single child. No. No. My products work for the hands-on parent who is the architect of their child's journey, saying, hey, I want this to be something that they learn and engage in, right? I'm not a hands-off curriculum type. So that doesn't really fit here. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not the style that I flow with. And so, yes, You print out what you need. You can keep things on the screen. You can go over it with your child. You have things that you can practice. I put in so many different things, cutouts to be laminated, all of the stuff, all of the stuff. And even depending on the pack that you get, in any of my products, you'll have a couple of videos to help guide and stuff as well, and do check-ins and so forth, because that is who I am. And I love to check in with families, make sure everything is going good. How are we using this? How is it working out for you guys? Should we have a conversation about changing something new? I'm involved and I'm a part of the process. And I'm also loving this stage of my journey, because whatever I'm putting out to you, I'm using in my own home, right? So it's not even just me creating for my class of students, or, well, I never really had a class, I always had at least 50 to 100 and plus students at a time. But it's for my child and all of our children, right? And so I'm always looking for things that are fun, innovative, that's hands-on for them, that keeps them engaged, keeps them interested, but also teaches them. And I love learning beside them. And in these packs that I'm creating, you're learning beside your child as well. So it is not like, oh, so go sit down and you just go do this part. There's a time for that, but that's not the biggest element of what I built here. And so if I'm your vibe, then yes, go ahead, subscribe, click in, check in, be with me. I'm with you, and let's have fun with it. I don't feel like literacy has to be boring. Literacy is supposed to be fun. Okay. So on that note, I will catch you guys next week. Bye.